What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Coming at you with yet again another perfume experience. And for today, continuing with the artisanal theme and Ensar Oud, because I had quite a bit of goodies ordered off of their site. Today, I have none other than Mongolian Musk sampler for you guys. I will profess that I did wanna pull the trigger on a 30 mil, but I was frankly uncertain because of some of the notes in there, as well as that generic um, SQ utter that's included as a key feature of this composition. So I wasn't too sure about it, and I already have enough Ansars with Mongolian Musk, including the Musk Gardenia that was the last upload for a perfume experience. So, I didn't end up pulling the trigger, but you guys, it's good. If you want to stop watching here, it's good. And I will go ahead and get a full bottle. But for the purposes of this upload, we will go over the sampler and yeah, we'll go through the musing off of the website, the notes, then I'll do an experience with you guys. And yeah, we'll get to enjoy another fantastic composition of oud, musk, and weird florals and other ingredients that I have no idea what they are. Okay? But before we get started, make sure that you grab your favorite snack or bevy, or as in my case, some Ecuadorian cafe. Oh man, this is good. And sit back, relax, and enjoy the awesomeness coming your way. Alright, so we will get started with the musing. Isn't it strange how oud and musk seem to always walk hand in hand whenever you're looking for one or the other? Sometimes ambergris tags along, but every oud lover at some point seeks out the trail of musk, while those who have been smitten by the odor of raw musk inevitably fall in love with oud. When they're together, magic happens. Magic cast through different spells. The potent urinate bite of Russia's Kabarag hives differently to skanky Kashmiri, which seems a bit rough set against the bitter, herbaceous sweetness of Mongolian Kodari. It's especially the tantalizing bitterness of raw Mongolian musks that begs to be dunked into oud and demands to be turned into a sensual royal aroma. You could make a strong case that musk is even rarer than oud. There are certainly more people who don't want you to touch the stuff. Try to sell a pod over the counter and they close down your shop. If Big Fragrance could have their way, would be infusing tofu musk instead of proper pods. Wait, most perfumers actually do use the tofu subs. Musk and oud go together like Jules and Vincent because they tug at and awaken the same primal desires in us. Many would say it's exactly because of that pull that there's such a massive market built on their counterfeits. I know only one or two people you can buy a raw Mongolian musk pod from, and they're not always available. You'd notice that these pods are a touch dry and a lighter hue of brown in color. Good stuff. But I'm not talking about these. The Mongolian musk in this perfume looks and feels like a vintage, well-worn leather pouch that's seen the world. The leathery skin is almost black, thin and smooth to the touch, but tough to cut. Inside, the grains are still moist, the pods are easily a century old, likely even older. Mongolian musk isn't just a perfume that's out to show off musk's pizzazz. I'll say it again, it's not the musk itself, but the magic the musk works on the dancers around it. And here's where things get interesting. There are smells that never existed but now do. People 200 years ago could never have smelled oud from Rayong. Then there are smells that once existed but now don't. And then there are scents that by all accounts do not exist or ought not to exist anymore. But through some grip in the fabric of time do. The musk that's in this perfume is one of those. That's one of the miracles of the age we live in. The chance to discover a smell like this. A fragrance that never existed, never could have existed, and today shouldn't really exist. But it does, and it's yours to indulge in. Then he gets into the notes. So for the top, you have black pepper, cinnamon bark, honey, and carob. For the heart, you have puera, ylang ylang, attar made by Sultan Qaboos. For the base, you have SQ Mongolian Musk, Rayong Agar Wood, Indian Agar Wood, SQ Sandalwood, Kupang Sandalwood, and Masoya Bark. Right, before I continue the music, you guys, I'll just grab a bit more. Oozing amidst the musk and the oud and the decades-old sultani sandalwood and the black tea and honeyed carob, there's a unique touch that makes Mongolian musks truly sultani, an attar made by Sultan Qaboos himself. The attar is one of the most limited aromatics I've ever had to work with, probably because the Sultan could never have known that his own attar will end up in your perfume. I haven't smelled something quite like it before, and incorporating it into a perfume was challenging. Even the final iterations went through several drafts because of how the attar interacted with the composition. But the struggle aside, the Sultan's attar allowed me to create a fragrance I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. And specifically, how it plays on the bittersweetness of the Mongolian grains to create the rouge effect that I find to be among the most addictive sprays we've ever put out. Then again, it also has to do with the musk oud affair, that feral invitation to a more natural, yes, even animalic world that strangely feels like home. A sweaty, musky, sultry allure some would pretend not to like because it goes against mainstream sensitivities, but behind the doors they can't stop sniffing. Alright, you guys, so as you heard the man say, it's musky, sweaty, sultry. Okay, alright, so the one thing I will highlight is the color of the juice. So you've got an orangish sort of juice right here. Ambery, not too oily, actually fairly liquid for a pure perfume. But I've expected to be slightly thicker, but I guess not. So I'm gonna go ahead and be careful as I open this because it's the only sampler I have, and I would like to maintain it if I can. And it's already stained my hand. Great. Something about it with the coffee just hits right. Alright, so first of all, I will say that this is really, really nice, you guys. It most certainly is animalic, and it does have a urinal facet to it. Okay, so there's something to keep in mind. It's very subtle and fleeting, but you most certainly will pick on it. It's not just urinal, there's a bit of fecal in there too. There's also an antiseptic quality to this, so just something to keep in mind. You do pick on this floral fruity note. It's very subtle. It wafts in and out between the notes. If I had to take a guess, it's most likely gonna be the ylang ylang and carob, because I could be wrong, but I think carob is a fruit. Wow, the animalic in here is it's not intense and it's not unpleasant, but you're like, okay, there's piss and feces in here. You do pick on it, and again, it's very subtle, but it is, yeah. You do pick on it. There's also this kind of a candy dessert like quality to this without being gourmandish. So think more about like hard candies or if you were to have a macaron from Ladoré kind of a sweetness here. You do get the sandalwood, which would give a bit of the creaminess. The creaminess isn't very strong in here, but you most certainly get it. There's something in here that I can't quite get my nose on. It is very, very pleasant, very sensual, and very, very exotic and enjoyable, but it's almost as if I capture it for a fraction of a second in my nostrils and then it disappears. And I have to exhale and inhale again to be able to pick on it. It's, he definitely, the oud and musk in here are pretty strong. I will say that. I would say that the other notes, like the caroub, honey, the the sandalwood, the ylang ylang, come into play supporting roles. This is a predominantly musk and oud scent. I don't really get the black pepper because the black pepper is on the top note. It doesn't come across to me as a peppery scent whatsoever. Okay. So yeah, I will say this is most certainly a predominantly an oud and musk scent. You get a lot of that sandalwood too, and the oud in here is gorgeous, you guys. It's very antiseptic, slightly mentholy. You don't get any of this sort of like wet dog or wet rag quality to it. It's just straightforward, clean, which I really like. But and it works great mixed with the musk and the oud mixed together. Just do be careful that there is a bit of a urinal slash fecal quality to this. It's very subtle, and I'm gonna say it's probably more the function of the musk than the oud, because the oud just comes across as super clean and very. I'm smelling it on my hand. Like this is stunning. It has this very nice sensual scent, and right next to it, you're getting a bit of urinal and fecal, which in a lot of ways keeps your brain engaged, so you're picking up more on that sensual exotic scent. But at the same time, I kind of wish it wasn't there because it's like just the reason I'm smelling my hand is because I got quite a bit of the oil on it. Yeah, it's an interesting one to say the least. It's fascinating. One thing I would say off of the top of my mind, wherever that urinal slash fecal note is coming from, I would have taken it down a notch even more, even though it's subtle, because the 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 other elements in here are just so good together, you guys. And if I had to take a pick, it's probably, I mean, I don't really pick on black pepper or cinnamon bark. You do get honey, do get caroub. Puere, I'm not sure what that is. Ylang ylang you get, and it's a gorgeous ylang ylang in here. And then obviously you have the utter made by Sultan Qaboos, which God knows what's in that because there's no breakdown of it. And then the base is heavy in musk and basically agar wood. Actually, so I still get confused between agar wood and oud. I mean, depending on which perfumer you follow, they use the term interchangeably, but apparently scientifically there's a difference. So comment below if there is. I do need some education on that because I am not sure what the difference is. But I will say this is so good, you guys, so good. It's just that I'm a bit confused with the animalic in here. Okay, so let's talk things that are really applicable to most of you that are gonna drop $1 on this. So that's basically the stats around the perfume. So first of all, in terms of performance, projection wise, I have the vial sitting right in front of me and I have my hand far from my face. I'm gonna go ahead and say that projection is gonna be strong. This one is fairly strong, you guys. So it will be sitting on your skin like it is on my hand right now, my fingertips, and it is projecting strongly toward my face. Now, is it gonna project strongly off of you? Possibly, but I'm gonna say mostly for yourself. It's gonna project fairly strongly towards your face and anybody that's close within your personal space, okay? But I'll go ahead and say strong because it is fairly strong projection-wise. Trail and silage, I'm gonna go ahead and say low to medium depending on your skin chemistry. I mean, right now, even though I have the vial down, there is a bit of silage, and I'm almost certain if I walk around, there's gonna be a trail, but I'll leave it more on the low to medium depending on skin chemistry, just because, again, this is an oil-based scent, so it doesn't really have an alcohol carrier that projects further and lingers around longer. So that's it in terms of performance. With respect to time of day you would wear this, this is an interesting one. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's versatile enough to wear in the morning or the evening. In the morning, you've got the florals in there, you got the slightly fruity note, you've got the honey, the caroube, the puere, whatever that is, which I'm assuming it's a flower. But you've got quite a bit going on in there that makes it a refreshing morning scent. But then it'll also be great in the evening because of all the oud and musks and sandalwood in there. So it will work really, really well across the day. With respect to seasonality, this one, you guys, is light. Surprisingly, even though there's quite a bit of oud and musk and sandalwood in here, it isn't actually too thick or rich that you would keep it only for fall, winter, or early spring. I would actually recommend this for summer because it is light, it does have a floral fruity touch to it, and it is airy, which is one of the things that I actually find fascinating about this, considering the composition and everything that goes into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is more for spring wear. Now, with respect as to how you would dress this, I will say, you know, whatever you would like to wear comfortably. I wouldn't say this is a dress suit scent, and it most certainly isn't overly casual, but somewhere in the middle. I don't want to say semi-casual, semi-formal, just because it wouldn't be a right descriptive. I'm gonna go ahead and say your leisure wear, okay? And the reason I'm saying that's the way to dress it is because this scent, because of the oud in it, of how heady, mentholy, antiseptic it is, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is a meditative scent, okay? So this is typically what you would use it for if you're just kicking it back, relaxing, taking it easy, meditating, going for a hike or a walk in nature. If you are just doing something that's easygoing, enjoying yourself, going to a whole food store, you know, buying your health and nutritional supplements and just enjoying a wholesome vegetarian meal, that's what really comes to my mind. This would be perfect for a yoga class, although I would take it easy on this phrase, because the last thing you want in a yoga class, especially in a hot yoga class where everybody's sweating their ass off, is to have this urinal fecal note, okay? Everybody's just gonna hate you especially if they're not accustomed to a scent like this. This is definitely also a scent I would wear if I'm religious and going for a prayer, be it in a mosque, church, a synagogue, temple, whatever your prayer location is. I would say this actually fits very well in a religious setting. So something to consider as you do don this on context-wise. Now, do I recommend Mongolian musk? If you are into a traditional oud musk composition, oud musk sandalwood composition with a slight twist that takes you away from the typical familiarity of the Trinity that I just mentioned, yes, get your nose on it, get your wallet on it, cop it. You will not regret it. It's a different style of doing the typical oud, musk, and sandalwood, and I find that quite a bit of you that are into traditional compositions are gonna actually appreciate this. It doesn't veer away from that sort of traditional profile, but it definitely does have a slight variance to that profile that will keep you interested, keep you going, keep you curious, keep you stimulated. So yeah, it's fantastic composition. Honestly, nothing out of this house to date has been bad, and I've never had anything bad to say about them. And just for full disclosure, if I ever do actually come across a scent that I don't enjoy, I'm not gonna make an upload trashing it. I simply won't make an upload, okay? I typically just put up things that I personally enjoy or would see myself procuring in larger quantities. So just, for full disclosure, you guys, yeah. And with that said, this is it for today's upload, you guys. As per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.